Let's be honest. The people around you are slowing you down, and deep down, you know it. In a time when political correctness tries to mask harsh truths, few are brave enough to admit that friendships and family environments often act as anchors, keeping you stuck in mediocrity. Ask yourself, when was the last time you really stepped out of autopilot and had an original thought? What have you done to truly challenge your beliefs and expand your horizons? If your answer is nothing, it's time to face a tough reality. Your relationships and the environment you're in are responsible for your stagnation. The truth is, many people around you are perfectly content keeping you in the same place, mired in superficial conversations and trivial concerns. These people might mean well, but in practice, they're like chains holding you back. Rather than challenging your thinking and encouraging your growth, they prefer the comfort zone of conformity. Instead of reaching for something more meaningful, you continue to sink into the mediocrity they offer. Political correctness suggests that we should tolerate these influences, but the reality is that you're being kept in a state of convenient, comfortable alienation. If you truly want to break free from inertia and achieve something great, it's time for a radical triage. Recognize that some of your relationships and environments are pure toxicity for your progress. Face this uncomfortable truth and take action to surround yourself with people and influences that genuinely challenge and elevate your mind. Change can be painful, but staying in the comfort zone is a betrayal of your potential. Are you ready to face the truth and make the necessary changes? The importance of conversations. Meaningful conversations are not just desirable, they are vital for the growth of the soul and intellect. Without them, communication becomes an empty echo, incapable of touching the depths of consciousness. High-level dialogues are the true fuel of the mind, nourishing it and expanding its horizons. Engaging in deep discussions is a way to elevate one's culture and acquire wisdom that goes beyond the superficial. In a world flooded with the trivial, seeking interactions that truly challenge thought is a sign of intellectual maturity. Consider an intense conversation about complex philosophical themes. These moments are not simple exchanges of words. They are mental battles that sculpt your understanding of the world. True wisdom doesn't come from comfort, but from the willingness to confront difficult questions and challenge established perspectives. Just as a warrior hones their skills in battle, high-level conversations refine the soul and intellect, creating a fertile space for genuine growth. On the other hand, trivial conversations are a complete waste of time and energy. They are like fleeting shadows that leave no mark on the intellectual journey. The key is to discern and invest your time in dialogues that truly challenge and enrich your mind. By distancing yourself from the trivial and embracing the profound, you will cultivate a life of real learning and growth. Control over environmental stimuli. Control over environmental stimuli is not just a choice. It is an imperative necessity for intellectual development and the preservation of mental integrity. Every influence around you is a force that can either elevate or corrupt your consciousness. Like a shrewd CEO deciding which investments are profitable, you must decide which stimuli and people are worthy of your attention. The intrusion of banalities and superficial stimuli is a direct invasion of your mind's fortress, diverting it from the path of true growth and wisdom. Visualize your mind as a battlefield, where every stimulus is an adversary to be evaluated. Allowing your attention to be drawn to influences that only promote the trivial is like letting enemies enter without resistance. The conversations and information that feed the soul and intellect are the true allies, the ones you must cultivate and protect rigorously. The real strategy lies in filtering what enters your mind, ensuring that only what is beneficial and meaningful gains access to your mental domain. Allowing irrelevant distractions to invade your mind is a grave tactical error. It's like letting the enemy army spread without a fight, weakening your capacity for defense and attack. Consciously managing external stimuli is a matter of protecting your ability to think critically and maintain clarity of thought. Only then will you be able to avoid the decline into mediocrity and stay on the path of true wisdom. Sovereignty over attention. Maintaining sovereignty over your attention is a matter of intellectual survival. In today's world, where every notification and trivial conversation fiercely competes for your focus, it is essential that you exercise absolute control over where you direct your attention. If you allow yourself to be consumed by trivialities and distractions, you are essentially permitting your mind to degrade into a state of mediocrity. It's a shameful surrender of your ability to think deeply and truly develop. Imagine an army that, instead of focusing on the enemy, disperses to fight small, irrelevant threats. Such is the behavior of someone who gets dragged into futile distractions. Every moment lost to superficial information is a defeat in the battle for intellectual excellence. You must treat your attention as a sacred resource, limiting your engagement to matters that truly challenge and enrich your mind. Effective management of attention is one of the pillars of self-discipline and real wisdom. Allowing trivialities to take over your mind is a recipe for intellectual failure. It's like leaving a hole in your armor, allowing any banal attack to weaken your defenses. Your attention must be a sovereign territory, guarded rigorously against the invasion of irrelevant influences. If you do not take firm control of your own attention, you are surrendering to mental chaos and mediocrity. Absolute control is the only defense against the dilution of your critical and deep-thinking abilities. The trap of banality. Engaging in trivial discussions is the real trap of banality. Talking about minor personal issues or gossip is a grotesque waste of time and energy, revealing a lack of respect for your intellectual capacity. These conversations are the true poison of the mind, feeding superficiality and preventing real growth. It's like spending time in a shallow bar instead of diving into debates that truly challenge and expand your consciousness. Consider a group of people discussing the irrelevant details of their daily lives. It's a pathetic scene where what could be an opportunity for deep reflection turns into a parade of trivialities. This form of interaction is the epitome of mediocrity, a platform where the soul and intellect are buried under a mountain of irrelevance. True intellectual growth only occurs when you avoid these traps and seek depth and genuine meaning. Allowing banal discussions to occupy your time is like giving power to parasites that consume your mental energy. It's a form of self-sabotage, where you become complicit in your own stagnation. The key is to recognize these conversations for what they are and refuse to participate. Instead of getting lost in trivialities, you should seek interactions that truly challenge your ideas and promote real intellectual advancement. Media and culture. Media and the conversations around it often revolve around banalities that are an insult to the intellect. It's a strategy of social control. They bombard us with superficial content to keep the population in a state of ignorance and distraction. News and entertainment, with their sensationalist and irrelevant narratives, are a direct attack on your ability to think critically. True culture is suffocated by an avalanche of mediocrity disguised as information. Consider the flood of empty information you face daily: reality shows, celebrity news, and futile discussions. These are not just distractions, they are tools of conformity designed to keep you on the path of superficiality. Every minute spent on such content is an attack on your ability to cultivate a rich and deep intellectual culture. The media, with its relentless promotion of the banal, is constantly shaping and impoverishing collective culture. The real tragedy is that many accept this impoverishing intellectual diet without question. The flood of irrelevant information creates a false sense of awareness, while in reality, you are being kept in a state of mediocrity. It is necessary to resist this pressure and seek sources that promote real and substantial growth. By freeing yourself from the control of superficial media, you can reclaim true culture and invest in meaningful intellectual development. False sense of awareness. Academic environments often offer a false sense of awareness by focusing on banal information. Often, the appearance of erudition is just a disguise for a real lack of intellectual depth. Instead of truly expanding cognitive abilities, the academic environment can become a stage for promoting pseudo-wisdom that serves only to maintain the appearance of intellectuality. True expansion of consciousness goes beyond the limits of these false academic constructs. Imagine an academic who prides themselves on a vast knowledge of superficial data while avoiding any real critical analysis. This is the essence of false awareness. a facade of wisdom that doesn't translate into true understanding. The exaggerated emphasis on irrelevant details and the adoration of information that doesn't challenge the mind create a space where true critical thinking and deep reflection are stifled. True cognitive advancement requires constant questioning and a dive into issues that challenge conventional perception. The key to overcoming this false sense is to constantly seek the true substance behind knowledge. It requires a conscious effort to go beyond academic conventions and embrace a form of learning that truly expands the mind. Instead of settling for apparent depth, you must engage in practices that promote real intellectual growth and true awareness, challenging the superficiality that predominates in many academic circles. High-level conversations. High-level conversations are the true test of your intellectual capacity and the depth of your soul. In a world saturated with superficialities, deep dialogues are rare and precious. These debates are not just an exchange of words. They are an arena where thinking is challenged and the most complex ideas are confronted. Instead of getting lost in trivialities, you should seek interactions that are a battlefield for critical thinking and real wisdom. Think of a discussion on the philosophical implications of a revolutionary scientific theory. These conversations are not limited to alternating opinions. They dig into the core of human understanding and challenge your own beliefs. They are moments when true depth reveals itself, and the soul expands through the confrontation with challenging ideas. Engaging in such conversations is the way to elevate your own intellectual level and build real wisdom. On the other hand, trivial dialogues are the biggest enemy of mental growth. They are like clouds that cover the sun, preventing your mind from reaching its true potential. Recognizing this truth is the first step towards a radical change in the way you interact with others. Surround yourself with those who challenge you and reject the trivial. This is the only path to true intellectual excellence. Sublimation. Through the intellectual is the only real way to channel your deepest energies into something truly meaningful. While some waste their potential on trivial activities and superficial pleasures, the path to true growth lies in the investment of time and effort into the intellectual. It's about elevating your thoughts and ideas to a level where they truly matter, transcending the limits of the mundane and embracing the truly profound. Consider a person who spends their energy on trivial social interactions. This is nothing less than a monumental waste of potential. Instead of channeling that energy into intellectual exploration and real growth, they are pouring it into an abyss of mediocrity. True sublimation requires a conscious effort to rise above these distractions and focus on what really matters: the cultivation of the mind and soul through deep and challenging experiences. True sublimation is the transformation of your base energies into something that transcends the ordinary. It's the act of elevating your intellectual life and rejecting the temptations of the trivial. By consciously choosing to invest in high-level thoughts and ideas, you are transforming your own life into a journey of deep meaning and real growth. This is the path of the intellectual, and it's the only path that leads to true wisdom.